So, welcome to JG's Fight Talk, sponsored by Richard Boxing and Limitless Creations. And with me now, I've got, Ender as always, the furniture, and we've got Luke from Simbox. How you doing, Luke?
All good, Joe. Thanks for having me on, boys. I'm looking forward to this.
Ender from Dinner Ladies.
And anyway, we're into round one. Ender, do you want to give us a breakdown of both fighters?
Yes, Sheeraz is 15 fights, 15 wins, 11 by way of KO. He's ranked 13 with the WBO. He's fought Jez Smith and he knocked him out in 2, and Bradley Skeet, and he stopped him in 9. Then we've got Torres, who's 14-3-0 with 5 KOs, and he hasn't beat David Benitez. It was a different boxer. It was a different Benavidez. Karen Frampton got that wrong. So you get the right information here on JG's Fight Talk. Fucking you can't trust them orange men, huh?
So Luke, before we get into it any further, prediction?
Hamzah Sheeraz by knockout. I think Torres will be tough throughout. Starting this first round here, he's come out and he's showing a bit of enthusiasm. But I think Hamzah Sheeraz is huge at the weight. You know, he's at 154 now. He's at 160.
Yeah, he's a big lad, isn't he?
He's still got tremendous physical advantages over his opponents. So yeah, I think Hamzah Sheeraz will start breaking him down, start wearing him down with a jab. I think he'll take him out within 8 rounds.
And remember, young fighter of the year.
Absolutely.
Yes. Well, BT dropped the young as well on that. They called him fighter of the year, which I was a bit surprised about.
Coy, you're really going for him today, aren't you? You're going for him. You're picking at him. As soon as Carl Frampton's on there, he's picking at him like a good one. I'm
not picking on Carl Frampton.
What are you two predicting? What are your boys' predictions?
Sure. Carl could get his bestie after me, except he can't travel out of the United Arab Emirates anymore. So what's he going to do?
Sheeraz, to be fair, I think it's going to be Sheeraz. I think he'll just break him down as the rounds go on. I think, long rangey jab. He's got a hell of a lot of power for a young lad. But yeah, I just think he'll get the job done quite easily, to be fair. I think this is just another stepping stone on the way up, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's more of how he gets the job done rather than if he gets the job done. I think the win's pretty much a formality, I don't want to disrespect Torres in any kind of way, but it's almost how he gets the job done. If you can go in there and stop a guy with this much experience and look good doing it, then we're going to see more and more people jump on the hype train. There's a lot of people already behind him, as we say, young fighter of the year. But I think a good win here is only going to add fuel to the fire.
Definitely.
Yeah, but I mean, Torres has only got 17 fights, so he's only got 2 more fights to them. So.
I misheard when you read the records out before. I thought you said more than that. My mistake.
We're end of round 1. Before Ender has to think about what his prediction is going to be.
I know what my prediction is.
We can wait a minute. We're going to have some of this.
Are
you ready?
Ender.
It's cool to be clear.
What's your prediction for the fight?
My
By the way,
prediction
for the first round easy for Sheeraz. He just picked him off with a jab quite convincingly. We will tell you more about the fight, by the way, people. We haven't seen each other for a while.
Are you going to let me do the fucking
Sorry, Ender, crack on. We haven't got long. Hurry up.
Right. My prediction is that Sheeraz has to stop him, and he has to look very good against him. Otherwise, it's a waste of time, because I'm not impressed by Torres at all. He fights people with the same surname as famous boxers, and that's about it.
I think I was quite surprised by the fact that you went with the headline bout with this, given that Dennis McCann's very popular. And
don't talk to me about Dennis McCann.
We'll get onto that after the fight. I'm going to pick at you for that, but Dennis McCann's got a huge following, and then we had the British and Commonwealth titles on the line with Heifer and Clark. I thought that was more worthy.
Lads, we better commentate on this fight, or the fight will be over.
Oh, he stunned him.
Right, took him well onto the ropes there and gave him a good old beating there, but reset there.
Torres defended well there, didn't he? He grabbed him. He was hurt.
To be fair, he did the right thing, didn't he? He held on when he needed to, but Sheeraz is just hunting him down, and
I think the problem is for Torres, though, if he starts throwing punches and he tries being more active, he's going to play right into Sheeraz's hands here because Sheeraz is a good counter puncher and he's looking to exploit them gaps. So if Torres becomes more active, it's going to be counterproductive for him. He's on a road to nowhere.
For such a tall, rangy guy,
right hand from Sheeraz.
For a tall, rangy guy, really, once he's on the inside, he's so dangerous, isn't he? He's got such heavy hands and so quick.
He actually reminds me of the McKenna brothers. You know, he's just tall and long and strong.
Yeah, that rangy, but it's very quick. But he's just dictating with a jab at the moment. About 1 minute 20 left of round 2. Sheeraz,
and he's got very long arms.
Pretty much in the bag at the moment. He's just dictating with a jab, and then when he gets the opportunity, he comes on the inside, does his work on the inside, and comes out without a trace. Really, I think is probably the best way to describe it. There's not been any issues from Torres.
I was going to say there, Joel. There's no fear of what's coming back, is there? You know, there's no respect there for any power that Torres might have. He's walking him down. As you can see there, his guard's kind of low. And he's just a power punch every time. So there's no respect there for his power, and it doesn't look like Torres is the kind of power puncher that he needs to worry about anyway. So it goes back to it's how Sheeraz wins this fight, not if he wins a fight. And can he be explosive? He's looking for it. That backhand is coming through there, and he misses slightly, but he's certainly looking for that.
Actually, to be fair to Torres, Torres did land a nice shot there.
Yeah, but he bounced off on it. He didn't really have the effect that he'd want. It goes back to Sheeraz doesn't respect the power. He might land here and there.
But would you agree with what I said that if Sheeraz wants to go places, he needs to be eliminating this guy early doors?
Oh yeah,
I think so.
Well, in fashion, he needs to do it.
That's what I mean. Fashion. He needs to make a statement with this.
I think you see that he has got that intent. I think he is looking. Oh yeah,
no, I'm not saying he doesn't. Sorry, I'm not questioning Sheeraz. I'm just saying you get nothing for a pair in this fight. You get nothing for winning on points.
Yeah, there's no overtime bonus.
But I mean, winning on points would reflect very poorly on Sheeraz for me.
What do you reckon then, lads? Good left hand there landed in that round, and end of the second. Obviously, another round for Sheeraz.
Clear.
Easily. But as I say, they just did the replay, and there was an absolute cracker of a left hand, and Torres just stumbled back. But to be fair, stayed on his feet.
Yeah, but Torres landed a shot
back in, didn't he? It's survival mode from the word go, really.
It really has been. Since he felt that power in the first round, he's been unwilling to engage. I think he come out with a bit of adrenaline, a bit of enthusiasm. But as soon as he felt that power from Sheeraz, he went on the back foot. And as you say, it's kind of survival mode since then.
Yeah. Well, here we are out in the third. Torres wearing the white and blue. Sheeraz in the white and green. God, what a jab.
It was a jab that knocked him back, but it was a strong jab now.
He's dropped him.
Doesn't that just say it, though? Doesn't that just say it? What a
jab. 2 or 3 jabs and he's put him down. It's scary. It's scary how simple that was.
There he's down again. Whoever did this matchmaking needs to be shot. Whoever decided to put that as the main event needs to be shot.
I'm going to be honest. I didn't expect that at all.
So Sheeraz got a flash knockdown for Hamzah Sheeraz, a bolt from the blue. Is that the first time he's been down in his career? Did not see that coming. Everything I said during that second round about Torres having no power has gone straight out the window.
Same punch. Exactly the same punch. A straight hand, bang. Just out of nothing. Brilliant shot, I have to say.
It's how Sheeraz recovers from that now. Is he hurt? He's not felt this kind of adversity before.
Sorry, guys. I had a moment. Did Torres knock down Sheeraz?
Yes.
Fucking hell. Where's my glasses?
But honestly,
stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'm not surprised because
and the funny thing was
no defense.
And the funny thing was the shot from each guy was exactly the same shot.
Sheeraz knocked Torres first, and then Torres
lands again. Second. Torres lands again there. I think Sheeraz took it well, but that backhand's landing.
But that's one knockout each in round
We're eating our words, Luke.
2-1.
Oh! Luke loves this because now he's just that little bit behind.
Oh!
So that's 2 knockdowns to 1 in round 2.
Yeah, what a round.
I didn't expect this, I'm going to be honest. This has turned into a good fight.
It's not. It's a bit silly. Like, defense doesn't seem to be any kind of a book that either of them have read.
But I think the thing is, at the same time, Sheeraz is young, isn't he?
Yeah. Again, we said before, this is the first time he's faced this kind of adversity. You know, he's had it all his own way, kind of.
It's all good experience, isn't it?
Yeah. You know, aside from that Bradley Skeet fight where, you know, Bradley Skeet had his moments of success, I think it's been plain sailing for Hamzah Sheeraz so far. To have this kind of test is never a bad thing, as long as he comes through it, of course.
Yeah, but in fairness, I didn't see this as being much of a test, and I think if Sheeraz had a bit better defense, it shouldn't be a test. Am I being too critical of Sheeraz here?
Maybe, let's see how the fight finishes. But, you know, it's always those unheralded opponents. You know, we've talked about Josh Warrington off camera, saying how he underestimated the Mexican.
But do you not think that's British fighters being overrated a bit by their promoters?
Overrated? I'd say it's the opponents that are underrated. I think they brought
Fair enough. Yeah. I mean, I can accept that as well. But I mean, like, you do have it where you have promoters of all countries, of all whatever, making out that their boxers are a far better standard than they are.
Well, there we have it. End of round 3.
Of course, then some people think the WBA regular belt is a fucking world title, and it's not.
So what we count is that a 9-8 round to Sheeraz? He wins the round with 2 knockdowns, but he was knocked down himself. 9-8 to Sheeraz.
No, 9-8. No, it has to be more than 9-8.
So would that just be a 10-9 then?
No.
9-7?
8-6. So that goes back up to 10-8.
Right. But what, even though...
Yeah, you always have to give the lead... You always have to give the winning boxer 10. So it should be 8-6, but that goes up to 10-8. It's the same difference.
Yeah, right, okay. Yeah, makes sense.
You know, but now this is according to the rules I was taught as an amateur, and I'm aware that it's similar. There always must be 10. It's a 10 scoring round. So unless they're both deducted a point from the referee, then someone must get a 10.
Right, okay, that makes sense.
Well, we're round 4
But
now.
if anyone thinks any different in the comments, they can throw it in there.
Well, yeah, let us know in the comments how you're seeing the fight. If you're watching it at home, let us know how you're seeing the fight. What's your prediction for the fight? Is it going to be a win for Sheeraz? Are we completely overlooking the other guy? Is it a case we've just totally written him off? But
let somebody jump in the comments and take the opportunity to prove Ender wrong. You know, any excuse to prove Ender wrong. Someone tells that his scoring system's wrong.
Luke, who invited you onto this fucking show?
It was you.
I know. Now I realise what Joel said. What the fuck did you do that for?
That wasn't quite how the WhatsApp went.
It was. It was like, fuck's sake, Ender. You're going to have a row and I'm going to have to sort it out.
Well, hang on a sec.
Ooh.
It's a bit.
To be fair to Torres, he's a fairly...
At the moment, it's a bit of a tit for tat, isn't it? It is a bit. It is a bit back and forth, but Torres is giving more than I thought he would, to be fair.
Yeah, he definitely took a lot of confidence from that knockdown. Even though he's been down twice himself, I think he took a lot of confidence from his small success. And you know, the size is a big factor here. You know, you can see the punches of Sheeraz. You know, he drops him with a jab, and you can see the power difference in the punches taking effect. And Torres is naturally a smaller man, of course, and you can see that in the way that they're reacting to the punches that they're taking as opposed to the punches that they're throwing.
Do you think you can see it going 12 rounds, though? Yeah. Either of you?
No, I can, actually.
No, I'm still sticking with Sheeraz. I still think Sheeraz is going to break him down. I think it was a flash knockdown.
Well, Sheeraz should break him down.
Yeah, which will.
I can see where it could go 12 because Torres looks like a very durable opponent.
And Joe's going to sit on the fence.
Joe lives on the fucking fence.
I still think...
Joe has an ass groove built on the fence.
No, not at all. You know that.
Well, come on then.
I'm not Stephen McGurr.
Ooh.
I think
That's why.
Stephen, jump in the comments and fucking shut that English man up.
No, I still think he'll break him down as the rounds go on. I just think when you look at everything he brings to the table.
Oh, he should break him down. He should, absolutely.
But at the same time, every
so this
fighter
is defense.
Every fighter has that learning fight, and maybe this is the one that's going to be that fight. He's taken his first knockdown, and maybe this is the fight where it is going to be a bit more awkward, and it's going to be more difficult to get the job done. And
that'd be much more useful for him moving forward than it would be going in and blasting him up.
He takes that
can I
moving
ask
on,
a
doesn't
question
he?
to both of you? Should learning fights like this be a main event?
No, that's what I was getting to before. For me, Heffron and Clark was the main event on this card.
Heffron and Clark should have been a main event. I was so
But
disappointed.
I'm not being horrible. Up to this point, we wouldn't have thought that this was going to be the case. Everyone would have thought we're just going to see a Sheeraz explosion, and he's going to take the guy out, and it's going to be end the night with a bang. But
yeah, even so, I mean, I don't want to go off on a tangent about something that's not to do with the fight per se, but even so, before when the fight was the card was announced in full, I still thought Clark and Heffron was.
We've got Dwayne Johnson. It's obviously The Rock.
Shout out to The Rock.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Right
for joining
Can I
us,
just be ballsy
Dwayne.
here, Dwayne. And I would say, if you want to get the maximum return for your money, I think the best bet would be this fight go the distance, because you're not going to get anything on a Sheeraz
knockout. No,
like that's just unbackable, and it's very likely. However, I think the fight has a chance of going the distance. Sheeraz will win, but you get a little bit more bang for your buck as opposed to 20 cents or P or whatever currency you use in that godforsaken country.
They always call me The Rock.
Can he do the eyebrow though? That's the question. Can he do the eyebrow?
That's what I was just going to ask. If you can send pictures, I want the eyebrow.
The thing is, Luke, when they comment, it's very difficult because it's a text medium.
Yeah.
Oh, you might be pretty, but God bless.
I know how social media works. I'm doing all right. You can send it us on Twitter.
Yeah.
Us on Twitter. Is that at Simbox now?
Yeah, make sure anyone that's watching, go and check out at Simbox1 on Twitter and Instagram. Cheers, guys.
Ooh, on Instagram. Ooh, look at me. I'm good looking. I have an Instagram.
I'll just put that on myself.
Hey!
No. Ibrahim, thanks for joining us. Sheeraz is always open to a right hand.
He is, and you know what? Torres did amazing was that when he goes with the jab. Oh, big knockdown.
I'll be surprised if he recovers from that.
The referees waved it off.
Yeah.
And
to be fair, that was
unsurprisingly,
a hell of a shot.
Sheeraz stops his opponent. What was that, round 5?
Let's be honest.
Just expected, you know, when Ender was telling somebody to put the money on the fight going the distance, in the very same round, the fight comes to an end.
Luke, did you hear what I said? It's not fucking likely to go the distance. That's the only way he's going to make any fucking money.
Well, a little bit, mate. I'm reeling my cap.
Will you go fish in the fucking canals of Manchester for all I care? The only thing you'll catch is hepatitis.
Dwayne Johnson's put, wow. Yeah, put it this way, Dwayne. Dwayne, did you actually put that bet on? Can you let us know? Because Ender's happy to do a refund. It's no problem at all.
If he listened to what I fucking said...
He can have the choice. Ender will refund the €20 or he will sign his orange
euro.
The
plural of euro is euro. You're not even in our organization. You go play with your pound notes or something.
Well, congratulations to Hamzah Sheeraz. A cracking finish there. And like we said, and we all did say it, if he's going to do it in style.
By the way.
And that was a hell of a punch. Hell of a punch.
He was looking for that all night. You know, he was looking for that all night.
And Dwayne's replied, and he's put, luckily I didn't have time.
Good. Well, luckily I had time to put money on Ireland to beat New Zealand and England to beat Australia, and I won the dollars this morning.
Yeah, but this isn't JG's rugby talk.
Sheepshaggers let me down for the Northern Hemisphere, and I would have won loads of dollars. So fuck the Welsh.
Anyway, thanks for that, Ender.
You're all right.
Um,
Joe Cardina accepted, because Joe Cardina's knockout. Oh my Christ! Where did that come from?
What a punch!
yeah,
Like, I haven't
as
seen
I
him
say,
knock out anyone ever with his brittle hands.
Without
Talking of the punches,
without going off on a tangent, do we have Cardina's knockout ahead of Lee Wood's knockout in terms of knockout of the year?
Yes.
personally, yeah.
Because Lee Wood kind of just pushed the semi-comatose Luke.
I'm not so sure.
Fucking...
I'm not so sure.
What?
There's a one punch, of course, but for the manner in which Lee Wood done it, I can't.
No,
explain.
because he only fell through the ropes. Had he not fallen through the ropes, he may not have even been stopped. You can give me the people's eyebrow all you want.
Before we continue, we're just going to have a quick bit of this so Luke can have another swig of water.
Hey on guys, Joel Kevin Cake Cleary here. You're watching JD's Fight Talk.
Brilliant.
Oh, look at you name dropping bitch.
Well, you know, if you've got your friends, use them. Yeah, so as you say, what a finish. Hamzah Sheeraz, another cracking knockout. Yeah, so where's he go from here, Luke? How do you do you want to see him in a more competitive fight now?
I think a fight that makes sense, and it's a fighter that's very familiar with both our channels, would be Denzel Bentley. It's an in-house fight.
That would be a cracker. I like that.
I don't know whether they're trying to maneuver Hamzah Sheeraz differently with him being based out in America now. There was talks of Anthony Fowler and Denzel Bentley for the middleweight title, but I think Hamzah Sheeraz
that would be a good fight as well, though. That'd be a good fight.
I think Fowler should retire while he has some brain cells left.
No, he's got legs in him yet. I think Denzel Bentley and Anthony Fowler's a good fight, but I think it's an in-house fight. In terms of Hamzah Sheeraz, it's an in-house fight. They're both Frank Warren fighters. Both
easy to make.
Yeah, you'd think so.
Well,
I love Denzel Bentley. I think Denzel Bentley's a great fighter, but you'd start Hamzah Sheeraz as a favourite in that fight.
Well, put it this way, and I don't know if you disagree with me or not. I would come across to the UK for Sheeraz Bentley. I wouldn't for Sheeraz Fowler.
Two great fights, in my opinion. Two different fights. I give Bentley more of a chance of beating Fowler than I would beating Sheeraz.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah,
I'd agree with that. I mean, but personally, I think they're all good fights. I'd watch all of them.
I definitely watch all three. But I mean,
just because
if I was to pay my money and get on
on
Michael O'Leary's Ryanair over to the UK and sit in the very back seat and watch the fight, I would only do it for the latter, not the former.
So, congratulations to Hamzah Sheeraz. Let's move on briefly.
Predictions for later on tonight?
Oh, of course. Ryan Garcia versus let's get it right. Is it Yavia?
Javier Fortuna.
Yeah. So, how are you seeing that one, Luke? As the outside knowledge man.
I think with Fortuna, I think it's a good fight. He's been there or thereabouts. He's been linked with some big fights in the past. I think it's a sensible fight for Ryan Garcia. It's not the likes of Tank or Devin Haney, the fighters that he should be fighting. But in terms of that next level below the elite, Javier Fortuna is there or thereabouts. So I think if he goes in there and he gets a knockout or he looks convincing on points, then I think it's a step in the right direction. Of course, with the set of lightweights that we got at the minute, that we want to see these guys in with each other, Haney and Tank and Teofimo. I know he's moving on into 140.
Is Tank's meant to be next, isn't he, for Garcia?
We could spend all night here while we talk about this. I think that the situation with Tank and Mayweather Promotions and Leonard Ellaby and Floyd Mayweather, and they're happy to keep him in-house and, fighting the likes of Rolly Romero.
And fight for the WBA regular and call it a real fight.
Was he a three-weight world champion without actually holding a full world title? It's very frustrating.
Such a crock of shit. And in the same breath, Mayweather comes out and says there's too many world champions. Well, how about you get rid of the ones that aren't even world champions?
I totally agree. And I think, 5.5 years ago, when Tank knocked out Jose Pedraza on the undercard of Purdue Jack against James DeGale, and Floyd Mayweather said that he was the future of boxing. Then 5 years on, he's not
still sort of up in the air, isn't it?
And what would you say to those that accuse Garcia of being an Instagram boxer?
I mean, he's a good-looking guy, you know, and he's flashy and he speaks well and he looks the part on camera. So he's playing the game. I have no, no
He's
Yeah,
qualms
he's
about
almost
making
it.
the
like the
money that's
young.
there to be made. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
He's the
not
young De La
but I
Hoya,
mean,
isn't he?
I
Yeah.
wouldn't put him in the same bracket as Haney, Lomachenko, and now his name's gone out of my head. The Australian
Kambosos.
Kambosos. Sorry,
Yeah.
you know, I think Kambosos and him would be a good fight, but I think Devin Haney would destroy him, and so would Lomachenko.
I don't think Devin Haney destroys anybody. I think you could outbox him and beat him. I think.
That's true. He doesn't knock people out, but I mean, he'd completely humiliate him.
Possibly, but I think Ryan Garcia has the right mix of power, potential, star power as well.
Definitely has star power.
Because
I remember I used to watch him when he was on Facebook. Do you remember when he was the Facebook live boxer for Golden Boy?
Yeah.
And it was just polluted with girls basically just fucking going mental about him.
Yeah, so I just think at the minute it's transitioning that from being potential and a bit of this and a bit of that and moulding it into the final piece of the jigsaw, if you like, which is going on and winning the world title, defending it, unifying it, and possibly becoming undisputed, because there's no division like 135 pounds at the minute for the potential to
No, it is the best division in boxing right now.
So I think he's got all the pieces to the puzzle. It's just about putting them together.
Yeah, because I did say to Barry McGuigan, now let's all name drop, that I thought that he wouldn't win a genuine world title.
No, when was he mandated to fight? So the WBC title with Devin Haney, and he pulled out and he had his mental health issues.
Yes, yeah.
At that point, I had that fight 50-50. I think with Haney's performance against Kambosos, that kind of carries him up a little bit. But at that point, we're going back.
But I heard as well, Garcia might have to move up a weight.
I think it's inevitable. I think the majority of the guys that are at that weight, take away Lomachenko, I think we'll see Garcia, Tank, Kambosos. Obviously, Tio's already gone up. I think we see them all at 140 at one point in their career. They're all young enough.
Yeah.
And that's why these fights need to happen now. Don't worry about taking a loss. Fight for the legacy.
Like you say, I'm quite intrigued by the next fight coming up. That I'd like to see more like is Garcia Kambosos. I think is a really good fight.
I think it is because I think that's a more 50-50 fight, and it's a more exciting fight.
I think that'd be a hell of a test to see where Ryan Garcia is, because Kambosos is one of those fighters. Yeah, he's one of those fighters where he's relentless, isn't he?
But I think Kambosos is going to take the immediate rematch, isn't he? He's got that clause.
So apparently they've pulled back from that.
Right. Okay. So that's interesting where that leaves Haney. Does that mean Haney goes to Lomachenko? That's an in-house fight.
Yes, apparently they want to make Haney Lomachenko, so they're going to pay.
That'd be a great fight.
Kambosos money just to not fight again, please, because nobody wants.
The thing is, they're all those fights, aren't they? Like Luke's saying, like they're all those fights where they're kind of interchangeable at the moment. And
but the
you just
fact
want to
is,
see them, but it's a case of whether you will because of all the politics. That's the.
Yeah.
The fact is, though, that the Kambosos Haney fight was so one-sided, nobody wanted to see the replay.
True.
It was
more financially motivating for Kambosos. I think he's not going to come out and say it on camera and think that he's not going to beat him in a rematch. Of course, he's going to believe that he's going to beat him, and he'll believe that he can formulate a plan to beat him. But the money that he'd be paid to fight Haney again in a huge fight in Australia, because that's where he was contracted to fight again, I think that could be a bit of a pull. I think.
I actually don't think that fight will make the money that they'd be after. Genuinely, I think even in Australia, they've seen him fight and they've seen him humiliated.
Yeah.
I don't think the clamour for the Australian, they were all delighted to get their world title fight.
Yeah, there was a moment in history, it'd be like if we came over to Croke Park with Katie Taylor. It's that kind of moment where the country stops.
Yeah, but that's what they did have.
Yeah, that's what I agree. They're not going to match that. They're not going to match that.
But if Serrano came and they fought in Croke Park and Serrano beat the snot out of her for 12 rounds, I can't imagine there's too many Irish people that would want to see their replay.
Yeah.
In Croke Park.
Yeah.
That's the point I'm making. I don't think there's money to be made out of that fight. I think if you split it, send off Kambosos to fight Garcia and Haney fight Lomachenko, much more money to be made for both, because the
Yeah.
Cambosis camp will believe they'll beat Garcia. The Garcia camp will beat they'll beat Cambosis, and everyone else will get to see the good fight that is Haney Lomachenko.
Yeah, I think it's interesting with Cambosis though, because if he goes from Haney to Garcia, and then he loses to Garcia as well, so that's back-to-back losses against the next best in the division. He's gone from having that victory over Teofimo Lopez, sitting atop the division with every belt apart from the WBC, to then having back-to-back losses on the back of it. He becomes an also run then.
But that's
mediocre fight, isn't it?
But that's where Lopez is. I mean, Lopez beat Lomachenko, and now he's
absolutely. Yeah, and
this is the thing.
That's bad management and not getting the instant rematch. That clause should have been.
No. I think it's down to just they knew that their fighter had gone off the rails, and it was a kind of he kind of put all his eggs into that wonderful fight. I mean, and his display against Lomachenko was amazing, but by God, he went off the rails after that.
I think it's just exciting times, to be fair. When you look at
but
division,
I think we're all in agreement that is the best division in boxing right now.
Yeah, and it has been for a couple of years now.
Yeah, and then just underneath you've got your Stevenson, and you've got Bam Rodriguez. I know he's a lot lighter, and the other good thing about Bam Rodriguez is he lost, so he doesn't have to worry about this thing. So he's just going to fight everyone and knock them out, and it's brilliant. And that's why I love him.
Absolutely.
Luke, while we've got you on the show, before we end it, me and Ender, we had one of our prediction shows the other day. Obviously, the big money fight coming up with our friend Jake Paul once again, who's causing a lot of controversy because a lot of people are saying he's still not a boxer. There's people who are now saying, look, you got to give the guy a chance. He's actually putting the money in. He's investing more into the sport now. He's got to be taken a bit more seriously. So, Jake Paul versus Hasim Ratman Jr. How do you see it?
Quite
an interesting one.
It is. I think
he's kind of pulled away from Tommy Fury, and he's actually taken a tougher fight. He's taken a tougher fight, to be fair. So
I think if Jake Paul goes into this fight and loses, he still comes out of the whole situation with more respect than Tommy Fury has at the minute.
Oh, yep. Tommy Fury is an embarrassment.
I can't make a true prediction because it's Jake Paul on was he 4-0, and he's not fought a true boxer yet, and Hasim Ratman is so much bigger, but how good is Hasim Ratman? He's not fought anybody of note. You'd have to side with the fundamental boxer. We're talking about this here as if it's happening on an even playing field, that there's no backhanders, there's no accusations of taking a dive. If you're looking at this on paper, it's Hasim Ratman by knockout. That's how you see it. And actually, a bigger man with better boxing fundamentals. Boxing's in his blood because his dad was a former heavyweight world champion, and you'd like to think that he's been brought up the right way. Taking nothing away from what Jake Paul's done, I've become a fan of Jake Paul. I'm not.
Yeah, I think we all have.
We were saying the other day.
From us all being so cynical, I think unlike the other celebrity boxers, including Tyson Fury's half brother, Jake Paul took it seriously. And does proper training camps.
I kind of want him to win.
I do want
him to
win.
Do you know what? I think to be fair, if Jake Paul wins it,
the boxing community
Tommy Fury,
to say you're a boxer.
Tommy Fury's got really no excuse because I think Jake Paul,
Tommy
if
Fury
he wins,
won't even be in the radar. If
Jake Paul wins, I think he turns around and says, "Right, well, I'll come to the UK then. What's your excuse then?"
You're a fucking nobody. Go away.
No,
I think happens in the UK. There's too much money in it in the US.
But do you know what I mean, though? I think he'll call his bluff.
Mr. Fury can't get into the US, so that ain't happening.
That's what I mean, though. I think he'll turn around and say, "I'll take the fight in the UK." It's not about the money.
No, if he beats Hasim Ratman Jr., there's more money to be made fighting in the US against better boxers.
But I genuinely don't think it's about the money. In regards to the Tommy Fury fight now, I think he just wants to fight him.
Yeah, but I think Jake Paul at the minute already thinks he's so far ahead of Tommy Fury.
I think Jake Paul has moved on
if
from.
If he wins this fight, I think that he forgets about Tommy Fury. And
based on displays and fights, I would say as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I honestly think that, especially if he wins, Jake Paul or Tommy Fury, so far in the rearview mirror that Jake Paul won't be stopping.
But where does Tommy Fury actually go from here? Let's imagine Frank Warren puts him on.
Back to fucking Love Island.
No, but he's going to carry on a career as a boxer, I'm sure, and Frank Warren will get him out on one of his shows. And Journeyman,
He's just going to be the undercard guy,
Can't
isn't
he
he?
fight that other
He's
fella
gonna
that
be
was
the
in Love
undercard
Island?
guy.
The other boxer from Love Island.
Away fighters, they're integral to the sport of boxing. I'm good friends with a lot of away fighters, journeyman boxers. And with no disrespect, but Tommy Fury can't go in and fight one of these guys that has, no wins and 40 losses.
No.
He'd be run out of town.
He'll have to fight another celebrity opponent
in the next fight.
He'll fight that other Love Island guy that was a boxer.
I think the first time he goes in against the guy that's going to be
Are you on your vaping?
Of a real opponent, I think that
be vaping on screen.
It's all
Children
right.
Don't vape.
But like we say, me and Ender will be starting a new series on this channel soon.
End is fucking right and deal with it.
Well, yeah,
and Joe's still on the fence.
It'll be we're going to be talking about fantasy fights.
Oh yeah,
fights coming up between different people, different generations, different eras, all that sort of thing. Fights that should have happened, fights that we'd like to have seen that happen. So, Luke, we'll definitely get you on for some of those, mate. There's going to be some interesting debates coming up. As I say, me and Ender have been working on a list with Luke, our sugar-free boxer. And
Adam Logan threw in a rake of suggestions.
We've got Adam with us as well. But Luke, thank you very much for coming on, mate.
But Luke, what would your ultimate fantasy fight be?
From the top of my head, I'll give you two.
Yeah.
Nazim Hamed against Pretty Boy Floyd Mayweather.
Cool.
Marvin Hagler against Canelo.
Oh
wow!
I like the second one. The first one to me is a complete fucking one-sided whitewash. The second one I really like.
We don't discuss them. We write them down and then we bring them to the table. Those two fights, I have to say, Luke, very interesting. I'll write them down, add them to the list, and we'll get
Adam's
one
going up
for
to
them.
drink a pat of grave, eh?
Bleed neck, I'll tell you. Luke, thanks for coming on, mate.
Adam's going off to eat haggis or something, isn't he?
Always a pleasure, boy. Always a pleasure. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, as always.
Yeah, you cool dude with your coolness and shit.
On that note, have some of this.
Are you ready?